One type of spiritual pride is when people think they can be happy without money. Albert Camus. Don't walk behind me because I won't lead you. Don't walk in front of me because I won't follow you. Walk by my side as my best friend. Albert Camus. You will never be happy if you keep looking for what happiness is like. You will never live if you are still looking for the meaning of life. Albert Camus. Only truth can face injustice. Truth or love. Albert Camus. Freedom is nothing but a change for the better. Albert Camus. An intellectual is a person whose mind keeps his own mind. Albert Camus. You know what charm is, a way to get a yes answer without having to ask the obvious. Albert Camus. You can't create experiences. You have to face it. Albert Camus. Indeed, man is not at all guilty, because he did not start history. But also not completely without fault, because he continued history. Albert Camus. You will never be happy if you keep looking for what makes you happy. You will never live if you search for the meaning of the word life. Albert Camus. No one realizes that some people spend enormous amounts of energy just being normal. Albert Camus. The secret to the success of life is human preparation to welcome opportunities that arise. Albert Camus. No one realizes that some people expend a lot of energy just to be normal. Albert Camus. Life is the sum of all your choices. Albert Camus. Blessed are hearts that can bend because they will never be broken. Albert Camus. If man fails to reconcile justice and freedom, then he fails everything. Albert Camus. The poor are no longer treated as useless, they are left at the door, never entered. Albert Camus. I only have a little time. I don't want to lose it with God. Albert Camus. I only have a little time. I don't want to lose it with God. Albert Camus. God is not needed to create guilt or punish. Our comrades are enough, helped by ourselves. Albert Camus. If Christianity is pessimistic about humans, it is optimistic about human destiny. Well, I can say that. Pessimistic about human fate, I'm optimistic about human. Albert Camus. The opposite of civilized people are creative people. Albert Camus. True generosity towards the future consists in giving everything for the present. Albert Camus. Rebels never find peace. He knows what is good apart from himself, doing evil. The values that sustain him are never given to him once and for all. He must fight to uphold them, endlessly. Albert Camus. Charm is a way of getting yes without having to ask obvious questions. Albert Camus. Capitalism's most eloquent speech is made by its greatest enemy. Marx is only anti-capitalist to the extent that capitalism is outdated. Albert Camus. In the middle of winter, I finally learned that there was an invincible summer within me. Albert Camus. Human relationships always help us to continue because they always presuppose further development, the future, and also because we live as if our only job is to have relationships with other people. Albert Camus. It has always existed in history where people who dared to say that 2 and 2 became 4 were punished with death. Albert Camus. We turn to God only for the impossible. Albert Camus. Man has 2 faces, he cannot love without loving himself. Albert Camus. Humans are never really willing to die except for the sake of freedom, therefore they do not believe in death completely. Albert Camus. As a remedy for living in society, I suggest big cities. Currently, it is the only desert we have. Albert Camus. All modern revolutions have ended with the strengthening of the power of the state. Albert Camus. To become famous, in truth, one only needed to kill for one's spirit. Albert Camus. Don't trust your friends when they ask you to be honest with them. All they want is to be preserved in the good opinion they have of themselves. Albert Camus. If there is a sin against life, it consists in wishing for another life and avoiding the majesty of this life. Albert Camus. The evil that almost always exists in the world stems from ignorance, and good intentions can be as harmful as malice if they are not knowledgeable. Albert Camus. When you really run out of experience, you always respect and like it. Albert Camus. After all, if people can't always make history have meaning, they can always act to make their lives have meaning. Albert Camus. More and more, the revolution has found itself left in the hands of its bureaucrats and doctrinaires on the one hand, and into the weak and confused masses on the other. Albert Camus. As usual, I finished the day before the sea, this luxurious night under the moon, which wrote Arabic symbols with glowing lines and slow waves. The sky and waters are endless. How good they accompany sorrow. Albert Camus. You will never be happy if you keep looking for what happiness is. You will never live if you seek meaning in life. Albert Camus. We used to wonder where the war lived, what made it so vile. And now we realize that we know where he lives, it's within us. Albert Camus. The true spirit of the 20th century is slavery. Albert Camus.